Have you heard about NASA's recent project? Yeah, that's right, we are talking about the Artemis. We will explain it in detail on Imagine channel. Without further wait, let's start. What is NASA's Artemis program? The Artemis program is a series of ongoing space missions run by NASA. 3 Artemis missions are currently in progress. Artemis I, an uncrewed test flight around and beyond the Moon, launching no sooner than the 3rd of September 2022, postponed from the 29th of August. Artemis II, a crewed flight beyond the Moon which will take humans the farthest they've ever been in space. And Artemis III, a mission that will land the first female astronaut and first astronaut of color on the Moon to spend a week performing scientific studies on the lunar surface. Artemis III will be the U.S. Space Agency's first crewed moon landing mission since Apollo 17 in 1972. While the Artemis space missions are mainly focused on lunar exploration, NASA's long-term goals are even more enterprising. Using the technology and research developed during the Artemis spaceflights, NASA intends to launch a future crewed mission to Mars. This ambitious NASA Moon to Mars plan involves building a new space station in lunar orbit and, eventually, a habitable moon base. Why is the program called Artemis? Artemis is the mythological Greek goddess of the moon and twin sister of Apollo. The link with the mission which first launched humans to the moon 50 years ago therefore is clear. The crewed spacecraft currently under development meanwhile is called Orion. Orion is one of the most recognizable constellations in the sky, while in classical mythology Orion is the hunting companion of Artemis. Why is NASA going back to the moon? NASA is not simply aiming to repeat the feats of the Apollo missions with Artemis, but rather to go to the moon and stay there. That means investigating the possibility of establishing bases both in lunar orbit and on the moon's surface, although the primary goal for now still involves returning humans to the moon by the middle of the decade. Key NASA mission objectives include: equality. A chief aim for NASA is to land the first woman and first person of color on the lunar surface. Technology. From rockets to spacesuits, the technologies currently being developed are designed to pave the way for future deep space missions. Partnerships. The Artemis program is one of NASA's first large-scale collaborations with commercial companies, such as SpaceX and Boeing. Long-term presence. Where the Apollo 17 crew spent 3 days on the lunar surface, Artemis aims to establish a base to extend the trips to weeks and possibly months. Knowledge. As more is known about the moon compared with 50 years ago, and technologies have greatly advanced, NASA claims that this next series of missions will be able to retrieve samples more strategically than during the Apollo era. Resources. The discovery of water on the moon and potential deposits of rare minerals hold promise for both scientific and economic exploration and exploitation. How will NASA get back to the moon? There are 4 main components of the Artemis moon missions. These include: Orion spacecraft. Equipped with life support systems and shuttle interfaces, Orion is the command module needed to transport the astronauts through space. Lunar Gateway. The Lunar Gateway is a small space station orbiting the Moon, designed to be a flexible platform for missions to the Moon and beyond. The Orion module will dock with Gateway, and from here the astronauts will transfer into the Lunar Landing Module. Unlike the International Space Station, ISS, the Lunar Gateway won't be permanently occupied, but will serve as a platform where astronauts can live and undertake research for short periods. It will also be able to continue scientific research even between human lunar missions. International partners such as the European Space Agency are working with NASA on the design for the Lunar Gateway. Moon Landing Module. The lunar landing vehicles will take cargo and humans from the Lunar Gateway to the Moon's surface. NASA is working alongside commercial companies to develop both a human landing system, known as HLS, and a series of other vehicles for robotics and cargo. Where Apollo's lunar module was designed to be used for one return journey to the Moon's surface, the landing systems for the Artemis missions are set to be used for multiple missions. Space Launch System, SLS. Tying together all these elements is the launcher that will carry them beyond Earth's atmosphere and into space. This super heavy-lift rocket is taller than the Statue of Liberty at 322 feet and is estimated to cost $800 million per launch. When complete, the SLS will be the most powerful rocket in the world, more powerful than the original Saturn V launcher that first took astronauts to the Moon. The launcher has been in development at NASA for most of the last decade, enduring multiple delays and rising costs. In March 2022, the rocket and spacecraft for Artemis I was moved to the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center. Will going to the Moon help humans land on Mars? While the journey to the Moon takes 3 days, reaching Mars is a far lengthier and more complicated goal. NASA sees Artemis as laying the foundation for both international space agencies and private companies to build a lunar settlement and economy, and from there eventually send humans to Mars. We hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you guys like it, please subscribe Imagine channel to motivate us, and like the video. If you have any suggestion, tell us by comment below. Thanks for watching.